David Rujo, President of the Southeastern Mass Building Trades. We're here to support the yes vote for June 23rd for the casino down here in the city of New Bedford. We're here obviously for jobs, especially in New Bedford area. New Bedford area has been kind of suppressed for quite some time, and you know, we're here to support the cause here for the casino. We're hoping to build it. We're hoping to continue, maybe after it's built, to do some work, maintenance work, anything that we can to get work for our members, and obviously for the members who live here in the city of New Bedford, which, you know, in the building trades alone, we probably have 5,000 to 8,000. So you know, it's a big deal for us. I mean, we're traveling, you know, far and wide, if you will, to go to work. It would be nice for some of the workers right here in the city of New Bedford to get up and only have to travel 15-20 minutes to a job rather than an hour and a half to 2 hours, you know. So they make the truck every day up to the city of Boston. It'd be nice to stay right here in the city of New Bedford.
So we're talking about 8,000 total operational jobs, direct, indirect, and induced. And as I said, the direct include off-site direct jobs in the local businesses. And I did mention restaurants and bars in town, but that would also obviously include galleries, retail shops. I mean, even the Whaling Museum. The Whaling Museum is, if 1% of conference goers decide to go to the Whaling Museum, it will drastically increase the amount of business that the Whaling Museum gets, and they will need more people working at the Whaling Museum. And the total construction phase jobs will be 4,508.
I also have heard over and over about the number of 20% of the 3,000 something jobs will go, according to good faith agreement, to people in New Bedford. I have heard nothing about what types of jobs, whether they're full-time, part-time, benefited, not benefited, what the average wage would be, and I'm very concerned about that. We do need jobs in the city, but we need jobs that are not part-time, majority not part-time, not low-paying, not unbenefited, because we already have that.
I'm not from New Bedford. I'm really from the state of New Jersey and New York. And I've been involved with a lot of environmental things. I've been in casinos all over the country. My thing is like this. Ever since I've been living in New Bedford, I've always heard a distraction and talk. Oh, what's something new going to happen? When are we going to have something come through? Or when are they going to make a change? I'm voting for it, right? I'd rather have an attraction than a distraction.
Right.
You talk about how in the Sands in Bethlehem, you have probably as good, if not better, rates for pay. And it was described last week as prevailing living wages for families. Yet, when I asked the question, it never got answered, and it is well documented, anybody can Google it. You guys have been fighting union representation getting in there. You were cited by the National Labor Relations Board for practices of intimidation, and they still are trying to battle that. Again, it's just that when you keep saying one thing and yet you're fighting something on the other end, and the claim, especially from the security that started trying to organize, is that they weren't getting the wages that they were promised or believed that they would get. If you could answer that. And the last concern that I have that got brought up by a variety of people last week is the points of the agreement that keep saying good faith efforts. Good faith efforts to hire 20%, good faith efforts to have 10% of the services by local people. What will define that? My major concern, a lot of what we that have been involved in this community for a long time keep dealing with is CORI reform. Will you work with CORIs, people that need jobs, can't get jobs, are right there in that area? Will you work with people with CORIs? What will define what good faith is? Because that is one of the concerns that I have, is that we're having to take a lot on good faith, but we don't know what that good faith is defined as.
I'm sorry, 20% good faith. Good faith would generally be something, ask Jonathan to get up here and help with that, with the way the ACA is constructed. But it's essentially a beating of the bushes at our expense and cost once the casino is open to find 20%, to find the very best people we can. You're talking about 20% locals, I assume.
Yeah.
Yeah, then we're going to go find it. That's a minimum. All right, if we can hire 50 or 100% local, that'd be great. And that includes finding people who may need training. Everybody's going to need some training to do these jobs. So you go find, it's just a commitment that a minimum of 20% will be local. It seems low. I don't see why it couldn't be 20, 30, 40, 50%. Good faith just means we're going to take whoever shows up and do our very best to train them or find them to do whatever job they're able to do.
What we put in as aggressive of a local hiring requirement as any community. Yeah.
But good faith still makes it.
Right, because you can't put those quotas in place. So we went as far as the law would allow.
Let me speak to that issue of good faith. Why does it say good faith? Why isn't it a guarantee? No employer can guarantee that they're going to get the applicants from New Bedford, that the applicants are going to be qualified under the Gaming Commission's standards and regulations. Say what you want about the Gaming Commission. I want to speak to your issue about, since I represented the city of Bedford, I know a little something about that issue, that land issue. But the Gaming Commission has extremely rigorous standards for employment at the gaming facility. And so no applicant can guarantee that they're going to get qualified applicants of any particular percentage. However, the term good faith, it's a term of art in the law. It's not meaningless. It's not unenforceable. It's not toothless. And something else that hasn't been mentioned here today is that the host community agreement also provides for the establishment of an office within city government whose specific purpose is to ensure that all of the terms of the host community agreement are complied with. In that office, in the mayor's office, in the city solicitor's office, if there's ever a time when good faith is not demonstrated, which I don't anticipate, because honestly, Mr. Stern or whoever's going to be running the facility they have zero incentive not to try to employ as many people from New Bedford as possible. They have every incentive to do it. But were there ever the case where there was evidence of that good faith not being exercised, the city could bring a breach of contract action. The city could go to the Gaming Commission. And by the way, every gaming license that's issued incorporates all of the requirements of the host community agreement into the license itself as a condition of the license. So it can be enforced not just by the city, but by the State Gaming Commission. Now you asked a question about CORI reform. The Gaming Commission is looking at that issue as well, because the Gaming Commission had a regulation that said you could not employ certain people with criminal records at a gaming facility. And they've already agreed, after being asked to do so, to take another look at that issue. So that's not going to be a decision that the developer or the operator of the facility can answer. Ultimately, that's a question of the Gaming Commission.
We got a site down the south end that's absolutely useless. No one can use it, no one can go there, no one can walk there, no one can do anything there. I mean, even if this casino fails, we have a site that's cleaned up, usable, and a brand new building. Come on.
And a hotel.
But I hear a lot of fear sometimes from people. Fear about something different, something new. And as a great president once said, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. You know, we can become paralyzed with fear, and frankly, this community for a long time has been paralyzed with fear. Think of this for a moment. You've got a company that wants to bring a $650 million project in. They're going to, why in God's name would they not want to hire people from New Bedford? What is the negative motive that has to be prescribed to this? What kind of fear drives people to make those kinds of negative natural analysis that the intent is a bad motive. And so I guess the only thing that I'd like to impart tonight is that we have to get away from this paralysis of fear and be able to say, listen, does everybody get here agree 100% with their spouses about everything? I don't. So we may not agree 100% with this project, 100% on every detail of this project. I may like some other things, or I may not like. By the way, good faith, and I've litigated these cases a lot. Good faith is a legal standard. And if you violate good faith, what does good faith mean? Good faith means that between the parties, this gentleman has to use his honesty, and the courts will have defined when you're being honest and when you're being dishonest. And he has to live up to his agreements and show that he's done it in good faith. That he's gone out to try to find people. And like I said, I mean, he's an employer. Would you prefer to have your employers fly in from Las Vegas every other day, or come down here and, you know, let's hire people from Boston. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. We can hire them from Bedford. They're qualified, or we can train them. But we're going to hire them from Boston. It makes no sense. That's fear. Now, what I hope happens, and we're going to hold him to his feet to the fire, is in the city. Now I can say that, in the city. That they're going to make sure they give as many people in this community who need the training they need to get these jobs. And if they don't, then that's a real problem. Thank you.
The actual benefit of the fact that this is going to be a bigger operation than a local restaurant is that we'll have training resources that Tia Maria's or Cork may not have, that a local entrepreneur may not be able to put in because they're just a local restaurateur with their own money coming out of their pocket. So George makes an important point. Not only why wouldn't we hire locally, but you have the resources to train local employees who a small business doesn't have the resources. They can't create a workforce that doesn't exist.